everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Opportunities Connected. We got a great subject for you today where we are talking about happy, healthy family structure. It's your boy, Yemi, Griot,
Justin Ladson.
And we're happy to have you back. Welcome to Opportunities Connected. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us again. We're excited to have you with us. Of course, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you turn on those notifications and follow us on your favorite podcast platform. We're here with you, and make sure you engage. And if you haven't had an opportunity to, make sure you can email us, share us your ideas, share your input as well. But we're going to hop on in to the subject today, and we're excited to talk about it. And in our last episode, we were talking about this as well in terms of maintaining a good relationship and the key parts of doing that and being our best with that. Today, we're talking about happy, healthy family structure. And Justin, I'm so excited that we're getting a chance to kind of bridge over into this. One of the things that I love that you talked about before is how you can work out together, do yoga walking or yoga walking, or do like active dates. Talk to me, brother.
Yeah, one of the biggest things I get from people is I'm too busy. To have a happy, healthy, and active family structure, you have to put in the work.
Yeah.
You have to schedule it. So one of the things that my wife and I, what we do is we schedule time to work out together. And working out together, or we'll schedule time that she gets her time to work out and I get my time to work out. We're a family of 4.
Right.
A dog, so if we can make it happen, you guys out there can make this happen.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, you're right. It's like being able to manage that time and then making sure you put some priority in there plays such a huge role in managing the relationships, not just with you and your spouse, but also with you and your kids. I mean, they are going to see how much time you make available to them and stuff. And it also helps lead to being healthy together. And tying into that, one of the things I like that, you spoke about before is that whole, being healthy together portion where not only is it important to be mentally and physically healthy, but doing it together helps to motivate the family to kind of do it together.
100%. So like for my wife and I'm a martial artist. Yeah. And she has her black belt under me, but there's things that she loves to do, such as yoga. So believe it or not, so I kick very, very high, but sometimes I get hip problems. And I stepped back. I was like, my wife enjoys doing yoga. So I'm going to do yoga with her, something that we can do together. And literally, I know my hips were getting better. Like, right. I was improving. I thought I was doing yoga for her. Like, let me do something to give her time, Yeah. But really, it was helping me as well. So making sure the goals are equal, not just what I want to do. But some days we'll do what I want to do. Some days we'll do what she wants to do. And who knows, I love yoga now. Yeah. I was not a huge yoga fan before, even though I have over 20 years of martial arts.
Right.
I live by yoga now, thanks to my wife.
Yeah, I had so many misperceptions about it as well until, I started doing it. We had this program at work where you could go to the gym for the agency, and then they had classes going on. And before, I used to be like, well, that's for a subset group of people. I'm not really into that. But then I started doing the classes. I realized, man, this plays a huge role of success in all of the other activities I do. But, to that point, one of the things, and each group is different. Each person is different in the sense of, it's awesome that you and your wife are both very athletic. You do martial arts, and thank God I'm hopped in. We're going to do a whole special on that, but separate from this, about me trying to make sure I'm getting better at martial arts as well. But sometimes some couples aren't that active, but you don't have to be that active to focus on being healthy together. You know, it could be as simple as planning or doing healthy meals or planning a walk in the park. And some of the things that I've done is I've walked with her in parks, or we would do maybe a morning walk or afternoon walk, and building it into the time so it becomes kind of a regular thing. And so it helps it. And then during those walks, you kind of get to talk, get to bond
Yep.
very differently from the way you would in between chores or in between work, or as you're in
One-
transit to, you know, IKEA, or in transit to the grocery store. In those moments, you're mostly focused on the task at hand. Whereas on this walk or in this activity, you get this opportunity to kind of really build and bond with each other.
100%. And there's an app called Trails.
Get
Okay.
out of here. All
Not
right.
only does it show you where all the local hiking spots are, but
Right.
it keeps track. So for those of you who are competitive and likes to earn, kind of like the games on your phone, every
Right.
trail you complete gives you like a badge. So
Nice, nice. We'll
my
throw a
wife,
link. We'll throw a link to the app
yeah,
in our description for sure, for sure.
yes,
That's awesome. And an app called Trail. So that's cool. Now back to making the time, you know. So we schedule everything else. You know, if we're at work, we'll schedule meetings with school, with your children. For those of you who have kids, or even if you don't have children, you are have pets, or anything else that you might be accountable for. You usually set a schedule for important times to take care of those things or those people, or all that to say, it's just as important to make a schedule for those times you want to get together.
correct. And you know, a lot of people, their go-to is I'm just too busy.
Right.
But you know,
It's easy to say.
everything that you want takes sacrifice. So whether it's waking up earlier,
Right.
or you put the kids to sleep, now you have your time to get some following YouTube to work out at home. It could
Right.
be a weightless workout where you're not curling a dumbbell. It's just waking up early or finding that time in between. So for me, some people may not like to get up at 5 a.m., but maybe
Right.
you get up at 7 o'clock, your kids are still sleeping, or you get up at 6 o'clock and maybe get a workout in before they get up for school. So if you want to be happier, if you want to be healthier, make that sacrifice. It's a small sacrifice that gives you so much more time and energy. The payoff is better.
It is. It is much better. And so, say if you just like, look, I want to, you know, that's really something I love to do, but I really just don't have the time. Um, One thing that, you know, we had the opportunity to talk about before is, you know, not just maybe scheduling the dates, but maybe even looking, okay, well, fine, you're busy. Well, what are you actually doing? Is it because you're tied up doing one activity or tied up doing another activity? How can you get that other person involved in the same interest? So, like a paint night.
100%. Now, a lot of you guys hear paint night and think ching, ching, ching. If you buy canvases from the dollar store and paint from the dollar store and follow YouTube, you can have a paint night and wine together with your spouse,
Nice.
and you pay pennies, you know, you pay dollars for
That's
like
right.
more canvases. And that's what my wife and I, that's one thing we do. We have a paint night as one of our date nights. And we'll
Nice.
be at the house because we have all of our kids. We can't just hire a babysitter whenever. You know, we
Right.
want to take the time to vet every single babysitter that comes in.
Yeah, that takes
So
time all in itself.
yeah, so we'll put a movie on the TV. We'll put the paint night YouTube on our cell phones, and we're just going at it. Like,
Amen. That's
yeah,
what's up.
we're
That's what's up.
7 canvases in now.
So one thing you just mentioned there is like you not being able to always find a resource to help either entertain or care for the kids when you guys are busy. So one thing I found, and I know that you understand as well, and I hope you all hear me with this, is helping to schedule time with the kids. You know, not necessarily always as a group. Maybe you directly can schedule some time with the kids. Give your partner, your spouse, your significant other some time where they have just a moment to breathe. You know, you can take your kids to the park, or make time to play at other things. And then even if you do it as a group, you can schedule a time to go over to, the trampoline park. And I know, again, like you were saying with the paint night, you hear that money. There are a lot of parks. You wouldn't believe it. Like I always think that my son, he just needs to have a screen in front of him for him to be happy. But then I'll watch him as we'll come to an event like we did um, recently at Prestige
right?
Martial Arts. There was literally no screen. There were no toys out or anything. It was just open mat, and they were just all running around and having fun. I've gone to the park with him, and just that time at the park didn't cost us anything, just cost time. Just going to the park, and he just enjoyed himself to the fullest. And so it's like, okay, well, maybe I don't always have to spend some money. We are lucky enough to live in the Washington, D.C., the metro area, and the Smithsonian has free museums. Taking the time out to go down to the Smithsonian has always been a wonderful thing for Luke and us. And so we definitely love doing that. I'm not sure if where you all live, you might have those opportunities, but look at some of the places around you. You'd be surprised how many available resources are around you that don't cost any money that you guys can go to and really make the most out of your time.
Yeah, most malls have a play center that's free for
Yeah,
kids to just go in and interact.
that's
Us
right.
sitting down on our laptops, having a screen in front of our child, it's not interacting with our kids. Our
No,
kids may seem occupied, but it's so different than taking them to the park or taking them to a safe space where they can interact with other kids.
that's
So
right. That's right.
that sacrifice you make to spend time with your kids, enjoy it now because I'm sure when they're teenagers, you're going to be the one fighting for their time.
That's
So
right.
let's
That's right.
utilize it
There's,
now.
gosh, I can't remember the name of the song, and I'm sure someone is going to remind me at some point in time. But you know, in the song, the child is asking for time from the dad the entire time, and he's like, "I know I will, son, soon enough. But I'm working right now. But as soon as we have that time, it's going to be the funnest." And then the kid grows up, and the dad is asking for time back from the son, and the son's like, "I know, dad, no problem, but I don't have time right now. I'm working, but as soon as I have some time, it's going to be great." And then he comes back and says, "My son grew up just like me." And I'm just like, "Oh, get out of here." You don't want, it's a great song, fun to sing along to, but like it's such a sad story in the sense that while they both have things to do and work to do, you're sad that they didn't get that opportunity to spend time together. And yes, you're right, it's not good enough for me to sit down, have my phone open, look at it while he's sitting on his Nintendo. That doesn't count. We
Nope,
might be
not
in
at
the
all.
same square footage, but we're not spending time together. We're spending time with our devices, getting outside, whether it's us walking the dog, whether it's us going to the nearby playground, whether it's us hopping over to, even the mall, or even just anywhere together where we are not managing a task, but spending that time together plays a huge role in keeping that healthy family structure.
Yeah,
Um,
what's so important is for those who have or those who have kids that are listening, never promise something to your kids
yes,
and not show up. What I mean by that, if you say you're going to take your kids to the movies, it's so important that you set the date and you set the time. And this is more important than showing up to a job interview.
yeah,
It may seem like just like our conversation on our last episode where your wife gets used to it and it's okay. It's not okay. Those empty deposits will build up.
they
Okay.
will, they
So if
will.
you promise your child you're going to do something, you follow through. That's your number one golden rule as a parent.
Yep. Yep. And
You,
even and
yep,
make it clear to others that that's what where your priority is, and set those boundaries. We talked about it before, how it's healthy to set boundaries, whether it's with your very close friends and helping to keep each other accountable, whether it's in your relationships with your spouse or significant others.
mhm,
Um, Set boundaries with people at work or with your job, so that they understand that your family is number one. And most times they understand. Most times you're going to have someone who works there, and yes, we understand families first because it's the same for them.
correct.
Occasionally, you're going to get instances where that isn't the case. But one thing that I've done to help myself follow through. And I mentioned that before. Following through is such a huge thing. Is before I even make the promise, or before I even say the date to my son, I book it out. I already set aside the time. I already know when I'm going to be free ahead of time. You wouldn't believe how very helpful that is to think out a few weeks. Just take a moment, the same amount of time you might take to scroll across, your social media, same amount of time. You wouldn't believe how much time you could lose scrolling through Instagram. That same amount of time, look at your calendar, look at whatever free weekends you might have, and just do like a random act of kindness.
That's
Whether
so important. So
yeah,
important to scheduling. You are being a proactive parent.
yeah,
Okay. Now, random acts of kindness it's so special, but
yes,
that ties in with being able to schedule the fun with your kids. Okay.
right.
One thing that I just bought that maybe you can look into is Monster Jam. It's Monster Trucks. I'm taking my kids to. It's out in Baltimore,
Nice.
Maryland. And again, I told my kids that I was going to take them someplace fun. That meant I had to stop what I was doing, look at the tickets. It was a bit pricey. I have 4 kids.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what? Why do we work so hard?
Right.
We kind of lose sight of why we work
Right. What's
those
the end goal?
8-hour days.
Right. What's the purpose? What's your end goal? For
Yeah.
me, as soon as I mean, you of course, before I had my son, there was a great appreciation for life, waking up each day. But when I had him, there was this epiphany that just kind of rocked me. And I think we spoke about this before, maybe in episode 2, in terms of and not letting our past hold us back. Um, um, I woke up, I put on that tie, I go in, I put in the work, I do all the work, so that at the end of the day, I can enjoy my time with my family, and that's that turnaround. I get a great joy out of putting in the work to make sure that my son has clothes on his back, roof over his head, and can eat. Now,
Mhm.
hopping back to the random acts of kindness, yes, I did a similar thing. It was lovely with Luke, where we went to go see Monster Jam when they came to DC. It was so
Yeah.
fun because I went out there. I was like, oh, the grave digger truck and stuff. And then, Toro showed up and was showing out. And it was great for Luke to like get to experience that in person. I mean, he saw the Tonka and the what's that? The Hot Wheels cars,
Yeah.
when he's
Yeah.
growing up as a baby, but getting to see that stuff live and getting to see the trucks jump up through the back flips, roll, all that kind of stuff. I will say, don't forget those headphones. Get those headphones. It's gonna be
100%. Yes,
loud.
yes.
It's gonna be
And
loud.
this just shows that we don't just preach to
Right,
our audience, right?
right.
I didn't even know you went to Monster Jam before. I have it scheduled. You took your son to it. Audience, I need you to listen to Mr. Yemi and Mr. Justin because we are for our family and
Yes.
we're happy.
Yeah.
We want the same for you guys.
Yes.
100%.
Yeah, man. Positivity begets more positivity, and that's what we want to share. Now, a part of that is not allowing the monotony to take over in the lull or time between the beginning and that happily ever after. So one thing that we always see, I mean, we've been seeing it since we were children. Our parents saw it since they were kids, and your kids are seeing it a lot now. Is that in all those shows or all those movies that there's this person, they fall in love, and then there's happily ever after. There's that time in between. You see it. If you're a fan of sports, you might see it in, whatever sport you're watching, whether it's football or soccer, or as my son says, the real football, or, golf, or even, in all of the efforts you might be doing between the beginning where there's all the ambition about getting it done and the end where there's that return on the input, that turnaround, that goal, that reaching that goal, that in between, you gotta be ready in that in between. That's where the patience, that's where the persistence comes in. And so that's where you play those roles of doing those random acts of kindness and making sure you follow through on your commitment to keeping this relationship alive. And you
100%.
always hear some folks say, "Oh, it's just dead. We ain't doing nothing." And
Why?
sometimes that
Why?
can happen. Hey, no judgment here and stuff. It happens to the best of us. But then they take a step back, look at yourself. Are there things you want to resolve, issues, things you want to get past with yourself that are standing in the way of being able to focus time on the relationship? If you're past that and you can focus some time on the relationship, look at that schedule, look out ahead, you know what I mean? And try to plan some things. Think about the
100%.
things that your significant other really likes and try to schedule those things out. And then say, hey, what are you doing this weekend? How are we doing this on this weekend with your kids? Like you already know with kids, and even your pets, you already know what your routine is and things you have. So find time in between that to schedule something that's just different, just a little bit different. Whether or not you're going down to the Shenandoah Mountains or wherever you live, whether or not you're going out to the Mojave Desert or you're going to Central Park or you're going down in Savannah or wherever you are headed, set aside that time so that you make that something that's really special for you and your family, and they remember that, man. That's
100%.
the stuff that sticks out.
Yeah, we all know there's no such thing as success without action.
Yeah,
We need to purposely put in random acts of kindness for our spouse and our kids for it to be a happy, healthy family. It's not going to happen magically just because
no,
you married the partner of your dreams, just because
right,
you have the perfect kids. Why are they perfect? What
right.
are you doing to really add value to your family structure? That
That's it.
random, hey, um, you talk to your wife. I took today off. She didn't even know. We're going out today.
Hey,
That
it could be
random
that. Hey, let's do a lunch date. You know what I
Yep,
mean?
yep.
Just the time off alone, boom, you just added some quality time back into the schedule that wasn't there before. And what a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, and it's more than just surprising your kids at Walt Disney World. Not everybody
Right,
can do
right.
that.
Yeah.
Even
You
just
got to pay the college tuition for that.
yes, even just hey, we're going to the pool today. One thing that I did when my kids were younger is I would purposely find like a $70 per night hotel that had a pool.
Right.
Or if I was traveling for work,
Oh,
I'm
that's
bringing my family and I'm getting a hotel with a pool. We would order pizza. Hey guys, we're going to the pool. We're going to a hotel. My kids love that. Like they love it.
that's that is genius. That
Yes.
is genius. That's I might have to take you because a lot of times, we're sitting down, we might be watching something that Great Wolf Lodge. And I knock at Great Wolf Lodge. That's a great, awesome place to probably
Yep.
go. But that costs some significant money.
100%.
But
It
yes,
doesn't have
man,
to be a
being
lot.
able to find ways to get the family to something that you know that they like, man, what a special thing to follow through on. And the kids, not only will your significant other like it, but your children as well. They'll really that those are the types of things that stand out to them later on in life. They'll be, I remember when my dad took me to this. I remember when my mom took me to this. I remember when we as a family we were able to go to this event and it was such a blast.
Yes. And for those who have younger kids, Sesame Park in Pennsylvania is your go-to. Like there's rides even for like a 1-year-old where you can sit with your child. So again, I got a $70 a night hotel. The tickets are not that expensive at Sesame Park, and you just have a blast with your family. Like there's no excuse.
Right.
Whatever excuse you put in the chat, whatever excuse you let us know, we
Yeah,
will
let
give
us
you
know.
a list of
Yeah,
what
man.
you can do. I really want you guys to reach out to us. info@talkconnect.com. Send us your situation and we will respond what we would do in that
That's right.
situation.
That's right.
Being
That's right.
available, being there is the most important aspect, in my opinion. What do you think?
Yeah, that's it. Being present. And just like we were talking before, being present doesn't mean you on your phone. I'm up here. Yeah, no, I'm here. I'm in the room. I'm listening. But if you're looking at your phone, guess what you're not doing? You're not listening. You can't, you shouldn't be driving with that. You shouldn't be saying that you're present with that, with your significant other, or with your children. You want to actually be present. That's where it makes a huge difference. Whether you guys are on the porch, whether you're at Sesame Park, whether you're on the, listen, in fact, around the holiday seasons, you would be surprised. Like, don't wait until the holiday season. Be like, oh, I missed it. Think ahead of time. You know that Christmas is a while away. Maybe you don't celebrate Christmas. Maybe you like July 4th. Look at what's coming up during that period of time ahead of time, and then find those free pockets. Go ahead and lock it in.
That's
And
where
then
the discounts are at,
that's
guys.
it,
Go into the
man.
summertime.
That's how you do it. That's how you make
Yeah.
sure you keep that connection. That's how you keep the bumps, nice and easy during that lull, that space in between the beginning and that happily ever after. Of
And
course.
an important tip for the parents with teenagers. If your teenager comes up to you and wants to tell you about a situation, listening is not doing the dishes and listen to what they're saying.
Right.
It's so important. Please take my advice on this. Stop what you're doing. Put everything down.
Yeah.
And then truly eye contact and listen, because they can feel your presence. If you're while doing dishes, they know you're not 100% there, and that's what separates. That's what creates a separation between you and your teenager.
Right.
Does your teen know you're truly present? Do they know that if they have a challenge, you're truly listening? And don't listen to give your input. Listen to really hear what's wrong with the car. Like when you take your car to a mechanic and your mechanic tell your mechanic what's wrong, without even looking at the car, they tell you, oh, here's a solution. You as the car owner, I don't think that's right. So don't listen to your teenager with an idea of what they're going through already.
Right.
I need you to really listen with a clear mind, be there, and then, that was completely different than what I thought it was.
Very true.
I'm very glad I listened fully. So
yeah.
that's
And
my 2 cents.
yeah, no, that's so significant to know. And sure, we understand that, we aren't, the end all be all in terms of answers for every situation or issue that might come up. Issues in real life, all of those things are real. They can hit families. We know that it can be everything from economic to health. And those things need a next level or an escalated level of attention, and and seek professional help for those things that you need to seek professional help on. Don't be afraid of seeking out therapy. We've talked about that in episodes before. Your mental health and your relationship health, and between you and your family and your significant others, are just as important as your physical health, if not sometimes more. One plays into the other. So, while we enjoy being able to share a lot of this information with you, some tips and some guidance, definitely, if there are things that are troubling you in your family, reach out, find some professional help. The doctors you trust. Reach out to them and do that. Those are very huge things to do. But in addition to doing that, finding the time to improve you, finding the time to make time and be present with your family. Those are a lot of the things, at least that we'd like to share, that lead to having a happy, healthy, and just really wonderful family structure. We can't thank you guys enough for joining us here again every week here on Opportunities Connected. Justin, man, thanks for doing this with me. This is awesome. And remember, we got
you, brother.
We got the email right there below. Definitely always reach out to us. We look forward to connecting with you guys. And we're not limited to the email. Share your comments, whether it's on YouTube or Facebook, Instagram, or even your favorite platform for podcasts. We're able to receive those messages and stay connected with you. Thanks for joining us again on Opportunities Connected. I'm Yemi Griot.
And I'm Justin Ladson.
See you again soon. Peace.